Welcome, welcome, Konnichiwa. My name is Brian,
And I'm Brian.
and this is Brian versus Brian, episode 14, No Fate, where we speak on one of our dearest franchises, our favorite sci-fi franchises. It's got to be top five at least. Terminator, or The Terminator. If we're starting at the beginning, you got to have the, and then you got to take it away later for the reboot.
You end with the nader.
Yeah, the term. So, depending on when you make this video, there's lots of movies to do. We made it in 2020, so we got like 17 Terminators to go over. I guess we'll go chronologically, of course, not confuse people like the Terminator franchise would. We're not going to pull a Genesis on you, and we should do this and then like travel back in time or forward in time. Yeah. So, The Terminator. When did that come out? 1984? No.
Or yeah, I think 84.
84? Weird.
Sounds about right.
Go watch Ghostbusters and then you watch this fucking banger.
84 is a good year for sci-fi, apparently.
Yeah, it's like, dude, could they be any different? Wow. James Cameron's first movie. And what a fucking way to go in, huh?
Yeah, man, this movie is really good. Yeah, it really shows put James Cameron on the map. Shows him he can do action, and it carries on for the rest of his films. He's kind of the king of action movies as far as I'm concerned, or one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie was super unique. Apparently he came up with the concept after a dream he had. I think he was in a hotel or something, and he had a dream where some artificial intelligence was hunting him down or whatever, and he couldn't stop it. And then he woke up and he kind of had this concept, and then thus the Terminator began. But
could you imagine that it's probably just a dream? It's like, come with me if you want to live.
I gotta have that line.
And then he woke up.
Yeah, and then we're introduced to Arnold, which, big deal.
Yeah, what does he have? How many lines does he have in this movie?
Fuck, not very many.
How many words does he speak? 7, 8, 9, something like that. It does have one of the best Arnold lines I've ever heard that I love. He's cutting his eyeball out in the fucking hotel. That's a sick scene too.
Yeah.
Especially for 84, it looks pretty damn good. I mean, the skin looks a little rubbery because it's the Stan Winston puppet, but I mean, it's a Terminator, so that makes sense. And it's starting to, I figure it's losing all this blood, so the tissue's starting to not be so alive anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's cutting out the eye, and then like the hotel manager or something, it stinks because his flesh is dying. It's like, oh, what do you say? It's like, what, you got a dead cat in there, buddy? And then it goes to the Terminator perspective, and he's got the red, and it's like possible responses, and then it has a bunch of things, and if you freeze them and read them, it's pretty fucking funny. It's like, yes, no, thank you, come back later, please go away, and it goes highlights one, and it's like, fuck you, asshole. I love that line.
Yeah.
Fuck you, asshole.
And then he has the quintessential Terminator line, which is "I'll be back," which is, I think, it's probably the most famous, other than "Come with me if you want to live." But I think "I'll be back" is probably the more known one.
Yeah, which is written "I'll be back," and he wanted to say "I will be back." Huh? How much different would that be? I don't think it would have hit. So yeah. James Cameron's pretty smart. Yeah, because he's like, I'm a robot. A robot wouldn't say that. A robot doesn't like contractions. Like a robot is efficient. He would use all contractions. It's like,
fuck you, asshole.
He's like, I'll be back. So yeah, I'll be back. That's a pretty badass scene right there too, in the police station. Love that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of great moments. The nightclub scene where you first get John, not John, Reese and Terminator both kind of hunting her, and she doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of really good story in this one. Um, as far as Kyle Reese, who was going to be played by Arnold, and then Terminator was going to be O.J. Simpson. But James Cameron, after talking to Arnold, as Arnold had such good ideas for the Terminator, he's like, "Why don't you just play the Terminator? You're so into it. You're going to be the only person." Because Arnold, dude, he really thought about it. He's like, "Dude, you got to train this guy in weapons. And when he loads a gun, he can't look at the gun because the Terminator wouldn't look at it. He would just know. He would just, it would be a program." And so, yeah, it was pretty cool that he was that into it. What else was I going to say about Terminator? Oh, yeah, the Kyle Reese stuff. Like the flashback stuff, that was pretty fucking dope, man.
Yeah.
Like that stuff looked really cool. Yeah, that one scene where he's talking about dogs, and then he has a flashback and the dogs are barking, and that Terminator rips off his fucking coat.
Oh yeah.
That was fucking dope. Love that.
Yeah, I love that this movie kind of stands out from the other ones in the sense that this is kind of a horror film, like an 80s horror film, sci-fi horror, I guess, whereas the second one kind of changed things a little bit, more action oriented, which there's action in the first one too, but and then the franchise kind of takes the action route, where this one kind of feels very slasher, unstoppable monster thing, which is, I think, is kind of fun and different from the other films.
Yeah, it's very much a chase movie.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to every Terminator has chases, but this one is like a chase the whole fucking movie. It's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Which is fun. And then of course, why I named the episode No Fate. Kyle has that great monologue where John Connor made him memorize a message to give to his mom in the future. And it's just such a cool, all that stuff, like sending your father back to meet your mother. It's like some pretty crazy mindfuck stuff. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What did he say? He said, Sarah, you have to be stronger than you know. You have to be strong for me. A couple other things. And it's like, anyway, it ends up saying, there is no fate but what you make. The future is not set. And it gets into this a lot in a couple of them, the no fate. Well, actually, just the first two, really. Then talk about, kind of turns that on its head. No fate but what you make, so they can stop, the end of the world. They're going to try in number two. But that comes into some weird territory where it's like, then how do you send your father back, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking, that's the hallmark of a good time travel movie. When you start to get these questions and these threads, when you start to get the questions like this couldn't happen, that's not a good time travel movie. When you get these questions where you get these conundrums, it's like, I think this is one of the best time travel stories ever told. And I think it's because they stick to the rules in the Cameron ones, at least, and they don't break them like they'll end up doing a lot of times in Terminator near the end. Like, you can only go backwards, can't go forwards, and you can only do it once. You're stuck. Like that's some cool stuff.
Yeah, he keeps it simple, right? A lot of the time travel stuff, time travel movies, they can get really convoluted and like a mess, and you're like, what? None of this makes sense. But this is very simple and easy to follow. There's not a whole lot to it. So I think that adds to the enjoyment of it, where you're not like sitting there puzzled about how all this shit works. You kind of just go with it.
Yeah, and I mean, it still holds up story-wise, visuals for its time. Stan Winston, fucking wow, man. The Terminator looks good. Big old puppet. That first time you see it fully Terminatored, I think, is when like the truck blows up and all his shit's melted off of him, and he's just coming out of the fire, and he's dragging his foot because his foot's fucked up. Terminator's got a limp. Like even that looks intimidating. He's like dragging
Mhm.
his foot. Yeah, and the sound effects for the Terminator in this one, I don't. They never do it again. He sounds so robotic and like pneumatic.
Yeah.
You know, like yeah. When he's going to when he's chasing him down, and like you hear it, it's like,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, that was cool. I wish they would have kept those sound effects. Like when they get in the end, they're hiding in that place, that factory. He's like flipping all the switches. She's like, what are you doing? It fucks with this tracking. Like, why? Oh shit, spinning around here. So that kind of never made sense to me. And then I've seen some other videos. It's like, why would you're trying to defeat humankind, so you make something that resembles humankind to go hunt them down. And it's like the only way a Terminator hunts you down is like visually. That's how it does it.
Yeah.
It can't fly. It'll fucking walk there, and it'll have to look for you. I found
Yeah.
him.
Got to scan everything.
I found him. I never understood that. I was like, why doesn't Skynet make like a snake Terminator? Right? It's fucking tiny. It looks like a snake, and the motherfucker just just going to get John. It's venomous. It's just John standing there, just ow shit. Get bit in the foot, and he's dead. Boom, motherfucker, Terminator. Model S, the Model Snake Terminator. That's what I always thought was the best one. Anyways, that's my take. If I made a Terminator spoof movie and had some money, it'd be Terminator S. I've already envisioned it. Like it leaves from Skynet, and they're on an assembly line like Arnold. So like, let's launch the next Terminator S, and then it like gets ran over by a car, and like, and then the next one, and it's a snake. Right, so it takes like fucking 12 years to get there. And it's slithering across the country. Anyways,
Nice.
so Terminator 1, masterpiece, right? Are we
Yeah.
agree
Oh,
on
yeah,
that?
for sure. One of the best 80s movies for sure.
That's a fucking 10. Terminator and RoboCop, sci-fi 80s robot masterpiece, master classes. Two very different movies too. Check them both out. 1990, what? 1 or 2?
I want to say 2, if I remember right.
I want to say 2 as well. 1992, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Ooh, talk about the sequel, man.
Yeah, dude, this is the big one, man. I think this is
sequel.
probably arguably the best one of the series.
Oh, I think it's it. Yeah. Well, Terminator 1 is so good, but I don't think anybody's going to argue it's better than 2.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. 2 is just amazing. All the lore they bring in and flip it on his head, make Arnold the fucking hero. Yeah, wow.
Which is smart. I mean, they could have easily just cash cabbed another sequel and had Arnold come back as another villain and do the whole thing over again, but it was smart to flip that.
Yeah, it's so different. It's got so much more story and lore, which is really cool. World building and I don't know what to say. I mean, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. This is a movie you can slap on every fucking week. Like you can watch this 4 times a month and not be like. So some of it drags on a little bit when you've seen it a lot, in the middle parts, but the end and the beginning are both fucking so amazing.
Yeah, I'd say when they break Sarah out and they go out into the desert, that's kind of when the movie kind of screeches to a halt. So I agree with you there. But yeah, the beginning and the end, all the mall stuff, dude, the action set pieces in this movie. I mean, I don't think it's my favorite James Cameron action movie. I think Aliens is probably my favorite of his in terms of action. But this movie, man, fuck, dude, there's so many great action set pieces. The fucking semi truck and the river tunnels, chasing fucking John.
And then we got, what's that guy's name? Patrick, the T-1000. What's that actor's name?
Oh yeah, Patrick. Fuck, I'm blanking on his name. Yeah.
But anyways, guy who plays the T-1000. Just when you thought no one could play a better Terminator than Arnold. this guy fucking is a Terminator, dude.
Yeah.
And like he trained for all this shit, and like, oh man, hearing about his training and how he wanted to do the T-1000, it's just he looks so. He's a fucking robot, man. He played it better than Arnold. Like
Yeah.
this guy is a fucking robot. The way he moves, the way he looks at things and speaks, man, it's just really good. All through this movie is so quotable and good, man. Like the first time the Terminator comes up to the foster parents' house and says, "I'm looking for John Connor," and he's different than the other Terminator, because this Terminator is more scary because he can be more human. Arnold, when he was looking for people, he's just like, fucking get down, fuck you, give me
Yeah.
your clothes. This guy's like, hey, I just want to ask him a few questions. He's not in any trouble, and he's
Mhm.
nice, and he's palatable when he wants to be. So that was a really cool turn.
Yeah. And you were um shouting out the special effects of the first one, and this movie still holds up, dude. Some of that fucking CG liquid metal stuff, dude,
Yeah,
still holds up to this day. And this movie was in 1992.
which is surprising because liquid metal looks like shit
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of movies. Still today, to this day, still looks like shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to do a reflective surface like that, and they fucking did it. It looks pretty
Mm-hmm.
damn good. Some of it is like a fucking like I don't know if it's any of it's practical, but I've seen like making ofs where they have like silver blankets and stuff. You ever seen that? Like
Mm-mm.
the behind the scenes, or it's like with a silver blanket, and then I think they morph. But yeah, they blend something into it because it's so fucking real. Maybe they
Yeah,
use
man.
that. Maybe they use that for the animation of the motion to make it
Yeah.
realistic. I don't know, but
I know when he gets blown apart at the end when he splits. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that was practical.
that's a practical effect. That's pretty
Mhm.
awesome. And then I just found that out. Always thought this was Arnold, but apparently it wasn't. When he's walking down the hallway towards the SWAT team and he's getting shot,
Mm.
like, as a kid, that was like my favorite scene because it's so dope. It's just like him like sacrificing himself pretty much and walking it, and it's cool because his skin starts coming away, and you're like, yeah, the Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
That was always one of my favorite scenes. Apparently, that's a like a chest up puppet that they're walking down the hallway with. The camera's over here, and they're walking with it, and they're actually like throwing like projectiles at it to tear that skin off and show the robot underneath.
Damn.
So I was like, fuck, that's how they did that? It's like, dude,
That's pretty cool.
that's fucking awesome.
It's Dan Winston, man.
Yeah, I wish they did all this shit now, man. This fucking CG shit is for the birds.
Mm-hmm.
So tired of CG.
Agreed.
You think it'd be good enough now where it wouldn't matter, but it's not. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's got to get better. What about Terminator 2? Oh, it's got a lot of that cool shit you find out. It's like, God damn, this guy's an amazing storyteller. Like, not only did he just make a good sequel, he made it in a fucking amazing sequel. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the chip from the first Terminator that she crushed is the chip that is the reason why the Terminators get made,
Yeah.
because they reverse engineer the chip and they find out all this shit about it. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy stuff. It's so awesome.
All the events, yeah, in the first one play a big deal in the second. It
Yeah.
expands, yeah.
And then so you're like, how could that happen? And then what do you think about the extended cut? You watch the extended cut
You
where it has
know, I haven't watched it all the way through because I don't like it. I don't like the Kyle Reese in the Vision or whatever where he visits her in the like that's the only thing that I actually remember is the Kyle Reese stuff. I don't know what else there was, but I wasn't a big fan of that.
I kind of liked that just to see Michael Biehn back.
Mhm.
Um, the other one is they explain more about why Arnold can learn, because he's
Mm.
not supposed to become, remember, because he's read only when they're sent out in the field. Uh, so he can't learn; they're just programmed. But
Yeah.
they, in the extended cut, they open his head when they're in the garage, when they're taking the
Mhm.
bullets out of his back. And it's like, I have detailed files. Makes you a more efficient killer. Correct. But yeah, they open up his head and they pull out his CPU and they like flip it to read write, so it can write to memory as well
Mhm.
as read, so he can learn. Uh, and then Sarah like wants to crush the CPU. She's about to smash it with a hammer, and John like throws his hands in front of it. Like, what are you doing? You don't understand how hard they are to kill. And John has compassion for him already, so they put the CPU back in. That's a kind of a cool little thing to make sense of why this Terminator would be so different than other ones,
Mhm.
becoming more human. So I liked that part too. And then there's some other things I don't care for with the T1000 where he's malfunctioning, but it kind of makes a little sense. He starts to malfunction because it's so hot in the smelting place. Like, so he'll put his hand
Mm.
on a rail, and then his hand turns like the
Uh,
rail the rail's like yellow black caution tape, and then his hand kind of turns like that for a while,
mm.
and he's like has to flip it out. It's like, so you can tell he's fucking up. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't add much. Uh, yeah, theatrical cut's still pretty amazing. So either way, you're gonna be fine.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah. What else is there to say about this fucking thing that hasn't already been said? This movie rules. It's so good.
yeah. Oh, that fucking intro, right? What an intro.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking, I remember watching that tape, that fucking flames and the fucking doo 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 doo.
Right. Everything's burning.
There's a the shit. Oh man, so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the awesome, Sarah coming into her own now. She's crazy because she knows about the future. And I just love all that stuff. It's, you're the one living in a fucking dream, Silverman. It
Yeah.
happens. I know it happens. August 27, 1997 is going to feel pretty fucking real to you, too.
I feel a little better now.
Yeah.
I feel much better now.
August 27, 1997. Anybody without 4 million sunblock is going to have a real bad fucking day. You feel me?
So good.
Yeah, real good. But
Model
yeah.
citizen.
Yeah. Butnick. So anybody who doesn't, Butnick is John Connor's friend in the movie, the redhead kid from Salute Your Shorts. So there's a little deep dive there. If you like Salute Your Shorts and Terminator, you'll get that. So moving on, 2003, right? I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
2003. Yeah. So I was in high school. I remember going and seeing this movie with Lewis in the theater, and this is like Arnold's return to acting. Right? He had been governor for a while, I think, at this point, or doing something, but he stepped away from acting for a bit, and this was kind of one of his returns. I think he had this return, and then he left again and came back really old. But Terminator 3, looking back on it now, and all the other sequels, at the time, I really liked it. As Arnold came back, I was like, oh shit, Arnold's coming back. I remember leaving the theater and just loving it. And me and Lewis had to walk back to his house. And I distinctly remember we had to cross a street. And I was just, the whole time we were walking home, I was pretending to be a Terminator, just like protecting him. And I was like, wait, we must wait to cross the street till nightfall. It'd be safer then. But I really enjoyed it. I still enjoy it to this day. It's got a completely different tone than 1 and 2. I just watched it last night, and it's very funny, or it tries to be.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold especially is written very funny, but I mean, I don't mind it. Better than any other Arnold return in Terminator. Yeah, I mean, it's watchable. I like the story of like Sarah dying and John not wanting to be a hero. It's like, what do you do? That's the kind of the theme of it. When you know you're meant to do something great, but you don't really want any part of it.
Yeah.
You know, your life is chosen for you, but you have to do it because it's so important. And so there's some really cool story in that. I think it's cool story that he's like on his own on the run after T2. And, you know, his mom said, we stopped it every day after this is a gift after August 27th, 1997. But he didn't believe it. So he just keeps running. Yeah. So I think there's some good story. I think it's a pretty good movie. I enjoy it. What do you
Yeah, I
think?
have a soft spot for it. I remember seeing it in theater too at Uptown, and remember having a really good time with it. I remember going in, I was pretty skeptical because Cameron wasn't back. New director, it's been like 10 years. But I was pleasantly surprised at how much I liked it. It's been, I think I watched it last year when I was getting ready for Dark Fate or getting ready to watch Dark Fate. And I don't think I loved it as much as I did back then, but I still really enjoy it. I think there's some really awesome action scenes in there. The story is interesting. And I like that scene where you were talking about how like John doesn't want to be a part of this or doesn't know how to be. And there's kind of a fun scene where, if I remember right, you may have to correct me if you've seen it. You just watched it, right?
Yeah.
But there's a scene where he's kind of rejecting or like, I don't know, I can't do this. I'm not the John. And then I think the Terminator like chokes him or something. And
Yeah.
he's
Fucking
like,
chokes him.
fuck you, you piece of shit, I'll fucking kill you. And he like lets him go. And he's like, there you go. There's the John.
And then John was like, "What you were fucking with me?" And he's like, "Anger is more valuable than sorrow."
But yeah, I think there's some really fun action scenes. I think the one that stands out for me is the fire truck, cop car, crane chase
Yeah.
scene in the streets. And I think this may be one of my favorite endings of the franchise
Yeah, that's a
because
good ending.
fucking a really bold and cool ending where like this whole movie you think they're gonna stop Judgment Day again, um but in the end I guess it's inevitable, you can't stop it, and he's just protecting them and saving them, keeping them alive so that when the world
Yep.
fucking crashes down around them, I thought that was great.
Yeah, and he was pissed. He's like asking why the Arnold character, which is a different Terminator, it's not the same Terminator as two. He's like, why did he bring us here? He thought they brought it. He was getting him there to stop Skynet. And then the Claire Danes character, which is John's wife, that's kind of cool, building some lore that he's gonna have a wife in the future, and they'll carry that into Salvation, which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, that was his mission, to save us, and so
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. Um, yeah, the ending is awesome because, like I said, there is no fate, but what you make was the theme.
Mm-hmm.
That you can change anything, and then this one just flips it on its head and says, no, you can't change anything.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that's why your father went back in time. That's why you're the leader of the resistance, because you can't change anything. The timeline, you can't change anything, but in order for nothing to be changed, we have to send someone back to alter the time.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
This is where things get a little
So
crazy.
it's pretty cool. Like the ending, yeah, you finally get to see the Terminators taking over. And
Mm-hmm.
the T1s, which are fucking stupid as shit, these giant like
Yeah.
like they're so fucking big and ridiculous, and they're taking over. And yeah, that's cool. You get to see that finally. And the last scene is everyone Radio and John for help, and
Mm-hmm.
they ask who the leader is over there, and he says me. So yeah, that was a great ending. The movie is kind of, watching it again. It reminds me of number one, and the fact that the whole thing's a chase.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really remember that, but going back, it's like they don't stop and really do any exposition like
Yeah.
T2 at all. They're just kind of rolling and rolling. And that fucked up truck, which is ridiculous. Like it's got the truck with the door missing. It's like, you don't, Terminator 2, you would have stopped and got a new car.
Yeah.
You'd be like, no, we're gonna get pulled over. They're like, they
Was it
just
like
keep going. They don't give a fuck.
wasn't it just like the animal control or
Yeah. They finally get a new car because they had to, but they're rolling with no fucking door on the truck and going 90 down the fucking freeway. Yeah, so I liked it. I'm glad that you liked it.
Yeah.
This is
To this day, I like it. I'm right there with you.
I think more people like it now that you can see the quality of subsequent sequels in
Mhm.
comparison. And I like that the story follows too. Because
Yeah.
a couple of the other ones start to veer off and do some weird things. Uh and you can't tell like what timeline, what's happened, what hasn't happened. So Terminator 3 I think is real good. Introduce some cool story and it's still to this day one of the ones I can watch. Like I just watched it last night. I enjoy popping on T3 once in a while. And maybe I
Mhm.
won't watch the whole thing. I'll just fast forward through a couple things, but yeah, quality. I like it. Not as good as
Agreed.
1 and 2, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Uh next 2000, what the fuck was it? 7?
9, I
9.
think.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
9
think you're right. Well, since
or
it's
8.
2000, if it's 2009, we need to go back then because something else happened to Terminator in between that. 2007, 2008, we had a TV show. Now
Mm,
I remember you liking the show at
yeah.
the time, at the time of it airing, and I remember like I think we caught a couple episodes live on
Hmm.
Fox. Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles, Game of Thrones chick playing Sarah. What's it, Lena Headey or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Which is interesting because the other Game of Thrones lady played Sarah as well in Genesis. I like the show. I own the show on DVD, season 1 and 2, which are super rare, I guess, because it was pretty hard to find. And now that they're out of print, they're even harder to find. But I like the show a lot. I think it did a lot of cool shit, and I'm disappointed that I didn't watch live more because I feel like I'm I'm part of the reason why it got canceled.
Hmm.
Uh, have you watched much of the show, or did you finish the show?
No, I had season 1 on DVD back then. I remember really liking it. I don't think I never bought the season 2, so I never finished it. And to be honest with you, it's been fuck, I don't know what, 12 years. I don't remember a goddamn thing about it, but I do remember liking it. I remember there's only one scene that I mean, a lot of it's just fucking random images in my head, but there's one scene that I actually do remember from the show, which is when fuck, who does it? Someone takes John to a park. Who the fuck was it? I don't remember who it was, but
It's his uncle.
it's his uncle.
Brian
And
Austin Green is in it from 90210, and he's Kyle Reese's brother, so he's his uncle. And
okay,
yeah, he takes him to the park,
it
and
shows him his dad basically.
yeah, him
Yeah, I
and his
thought that was
dad.
cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Uh, the show was good, man. If you have a way of watching season 2, I don't know. I don't think it's on anything, so it's super hard to get. But season 2 gets a little out there and pretty does some pretty cool stuff with this Terminator, and because the Terminator from season 1 is like found, and then they're working on it and working with AI with it, and come to find out that the person that runs the company is doing it is a Terminator. She's like a T1000. So it's got some interesting stuff. But she claims that she's trying to help the humans. And that they had to write the ending pretty quick because it got canceled. So
Mm,
it's kind of vague. I'd have to watch it again, but I don't I can't the ending's vague, so you don't know if she ended up helping or hurting them. It's something weird. Because I think the end, like she makes some time travel or something, and then they're in the future, and then it's John, and they're talking to some future folks, and it's like, I'm John Connor, and they're like, who's John Connor? And so in this future, no one knows. So I think actually she hurt John. I don't know, but it gets
mm.
into some pretty cool stuff. The Terminator in season 1 is pretty cool. Forget the actor's name, but he's in a lot of stuff. Some pretty cool action stuff. I remember one scene I really enjoyed was like the pilot episode, or like one of the first episodes where John's in school with a secret alias and stuff, and the teachers call and roll. It's like John Connor, and then he raises his hand, and then you see the teacher under the desk. It cuts to his legs, and then he just stabs himself with like a pen, and he like does that and pulls a gun from like under his like
Mm.
living tissue and stands up and just starts unloading. But the teenage girl who's a Terminator is in the class, so she like steps in front. And Summer Glau is the Terminator.
Oh
She's a
yeah,
and she's a kind of a weird Terminator because she I don't know, she's got attitude.
yeah.
She can she can she can learn, like she can eat things. Like John's like sitting there at a table and like Summer he says, "Well, you're just a machine," and then she looks at him like boom. She can eat things. Anyways, uh check it out. And it's kind of a moot point talking too much about Sarah Connor Chronicles because no one's seen it.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy it. I was thinking about restarting, and I think I will now after talking about it. But it's a lot of episodes, so it's a lot to restart in
Hmm.
this day and age. So that fits in that timeline. That's before Salvation, and damn, it's a shame it didn't go anywhere because that was a pretty good show, and it was on Fox. So I can only imagine what it could have been if it was like on HBO or like Showtime or something like fucking
Right.
where they could actually do something. So I liked it. Check it out if you can. But that will bring us to the 2009 Salvation. You haven't seen it in a while, huh?
No, it's been a really long time. But I remember being kind of mixed on it. I think there's a lot of aspects I really liked about it, but I think overall it's kind of like eh. But I really want to watch it again because, like I said, it's been a while, and I just love taking the franchise into the future and seeing
Yeah.
John as the leader. I think that's an awesome idea. I'm glad they did it,
The
and with
only
Christian Bale.
the only Terminator without any time travel.
Hmm.
Zero. I mean, there's kind of time travel because the guy Sam, what's the act
Oh, Sam Worthington.
Worthington, yeah, the cyborg in this, because he's still human but a Terminator as well. Uh, he gets worked on and then he wakes up in the future. So like he didn't get sent there. He just like
Hmm.
he just like was in hibernation through all of it. So that's kind of time travel, but no time travel. But yeah, it's pretty cool. This is where we get the infamous Christian Bale freak out. So
Yeah.
that's the big thing. You're in my fucking light. I'm trying to fucking act here.
Just
If he's on
lollygagging around, la 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 la.
if he's on fucking set tomorrow, I'm not. Yeah,
So good.
the guy's crazy. It's like he took playing John Connor this serious, bro.
Mhm.
This ain't fucking The Machinist or some shit.
Right.
It's like, dude, this is a McG movie. I don't know if you knew who's directing this motherfucker, but
Charlie's Angels.
his name is Mick G. And you're taking this shit like it's William Shakespeare. Mick G, he's in my light.
He's a true auteur. I wonder what scene that happened in. It must have been a pretty important monologue scene or something.
Yeah, there's no important scenes in the movie. Like, what could it be? You know what's funny? I was thinking it's the one where he's checking out the snake Terminator. If you remember,
Mm.
there's an actual like serpentine Terminator that's in the water. That's what I'm telling. Skynet was onto something. They got this. It's like this snake thing, and they're fucking with it, and it's like tails. Oh yeah, it was when they're testing the signal. We have a signal that'll go out that'll stop the Terminators. It's like that's pretty fucking stupid. They just send a signal over the air that we can. I thought that was the point of having smart Terminators. They could all think on their own. They don't need a signal. But anyways, it was pretty cool. Visually, it's a really cool looking movie. Chase scene with the Terminator motorcycle, a Terminator that is a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of interesting. I'm not a big fan of Sam Worthington, but he was pretty good in this movie. Christian Bale was pretty good.
Yeah. He's always good.
Yeah, it was kind of a little much. He played John Connor really. He did the Batman voice the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool because the future's like they don't really believe John Connor. You know, like the leaders of the resistance. He's not the leader in this. And a lot of people believe in John Connor, but the leaders don't. They're like, you're not going, John, and this other shit. You're not this Messiah. And it's like, we're in charge. So that was kind of interesting to flip that coin.
Yeah.
Um, so I liked, like I said, it brought in his wife, like that Kate Brewster character is in this redhead wife.
That Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes, Bryce, damn Howard, and so yeah, there's some cool stuff in it. Oh yeah, it's got Arnold. It's got CG Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it looked pretty good at the time, but now looking back on that, that's
Yeah.
pretty rough. I mean, that's like PS3 graphics Arnold.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see the theme plays for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, he's like unstoppable in this though. This is like a weird Arnold. He's like walking, jogging. Like
Butt ass naked.
Holy shit! And I think he scars John, right? I think because remember in Terminator 2 and all the flashbacks, he's got that big
Oh yeah, he's got the
scar across his
yeah.
eye. And then I think in that scene, Arnold is like trying to get to him and he like fucking scratches at his eye and it's like, ah, and cuts him to get that scar. So that's kind of
cool.
Kind of cool lore. It's like, what, Arnold just do everything? He saved you. He taught you how to be a man. He scarred your eye. we find out in Terminator 3, he's the one that killed you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So pretty good. I didn't like the ending too much where it's like they have to put Sam Worthington's like robotic heart or something into John to save him.
Oh fuck, I don't even remember that. That sounds awful.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But other than
yeah,
that,
they kind of fucked it up with the trailer. You know what I mean? Like I remember going into the movie already knowing that Sam Worthington's character was a robot. I feel like they should have kept that under wraps. I mean, it probably would have been obvious, you know, as viewers of, you know, fans of the franchise, we probably could have figured it out on our own, but still, why would you show that in the trailer?
Yeah. So that's Salvation. It's pretty good. We'll try and speed things up so we can get to the Seahawks game. But we're on to the next one. That was pretty good. Check it out. It's still okay. McG, I like Charlie's Angels. That was pretty good. This is pretty good.
I remember there being a really cool one take shot in the beginning with like the rating of base and it's all one camera shot.
There's that was pretty cool.
That was kind of cool.
And it shows some of the Terminators, some of the T600s, like where they had, like Kyle Reese talks about, the first ones were easy to spot. And they had like rubber skin. They had some of those Terminators, and that's kind of cool to see those. So they're like 7 feet tall, and they've got rubber skin. It's like, what's the point of even putting skin on them? You're 7 feet tall. It's like standing in the crowd, like, I'm a human. Where's John? So check that one out. What's next one's Genesis, right?
Yeah.
2015, 14.
Yeah, something like that.
13.
Somewhere around there.
13 and 15. So yeah, this one is when the shit gets whack, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to carry this one because I've seen it once. I didn't see it in theater. I think I saw it when it came out on Blu-ray or whatever, but I don't remember a fucking thing about it.
I saw it in theaters, and I liked it. I enjoyed it at the time. I was like, "Oh, this is the best sequel since Terminator 2." I remember putting that on Facebook. And I believed it at the time, but you know, time goes on, you watch a movie more and you realize, because I just thought it was kind of cool because they played with the nostalgia. Like they take you back to some of the set pieces of Terminator 1 and redo them. So that stuff was cool. Arnold was back. So in this timeline, a Terminator was sent back to 1970 to train Sarah to be ready for the Terminator in 84. So by the time 84 comes around, she's not a waitress. She's like Terminator 2 Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
And so Kyle Reese goes back to save her, and he comes to this Sarah who's totally capable of saving herself, and she's got a Terminator friend. And he's like, what the fuck? This isn't right. This isn't how it's supposed to happen. And then it goes from there. So pretty wacky, wild stuff. The guy who played. So it's pretty weird.
It wasn't
There's
John a fucking robot or a bad guy or something?
yes. So at the beginning is he's sending back Kyle. They're about to win. So he's got to. I don't know. He's about to win, but somehow he has to send back Kyle. He knows for it all to work. So he's gonna send back Kyle, and then the guy who played like Doctor Who is the physical manifestation of Skynet. And remember, he's in all the posters and shit, and he's like, "This guy's Skynet," and it's like he's only in the movie for this, and they never really explain it. And he walks up, and after he sends him back, oh yeah, Kyle can see him. Like it's like he walks up to him and stabs him while he's sending him back, and he kills John. But he brings him back with nanobots, nanobot technology.
Yikes.
And so, yeah, he's a Terminator. And then what was it? Oh yeah, so Arnold builds a time machine in 1984 after Kyle comes back and sends them back to the future, sends them to like 2007, which is the new like Judgment Day is in 2007. And Genesis is a computer program that's on everybody's phones. It's like coming soon. Get the new Genesis operating system. Everyone wants to download it, and that's how it gets to everybody. It's like it's this new, it's like iOS or Android. And so they sends him to the future. He can't go because he's got a bunch of damage on his body and he's not covered with living tissue anymore. So he waits. And so that's a way to get him old because he's old. So they kind of de-age him, and then when he goes back to 2007, they let him be normal Schwarzenegger. Yeah. And then in 2007, so they're trying to stop Skynet. So they go to like Kyle Reese's house, and Kyle Reese is like waiting. He's like excited for his birthday where he's going to get Genesis or something. I don't know. Hold on, it's coming to me. It's good. It's good.
Oh God, it's rough.
So they go to the like place that Genesis, the place like Skynet building, the Genesis building where they're making this shit, and it's run by John. Like John's there. He's a CEO in 2007. So I think he traveled back in time to 2007 because Skynet wanted him to make sure that it happens, Judgment Day. So Skynet is just like, yeah, what are we gonna do? It's 2007. It has to happen, right? Okay, yeah. Send John Connor, the guy who tried to end it, but now he's on our side. Send him to make it happen.
Ooh.
Like, why? Because he's nanobots now. Send him. Anyways, so they meet up with John, and it's a cool moment where John gets to meet his father and his mother at the same time, which I don't think has ever happened. And they kind of have this family reunion, and everyone thinks it's going to be cool until the Terminator like shoots John, and then the Sarah Connor character is like, "Oh no!" It's like, he's a nanobot Terminator. And then he's like, it's kind of like a T-1000 kind of thing, and he morphs back in, and it just goes to hell from there. I don't even remember the end.
Weren't they fighting like a big AI computer face? They're like in the build. I'm starting to come back a little bit. There's just a big like computer program in this building, and they're shooting at it, and John's fighting them. Oh God.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah.
John. Could you fuck up John Connor anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie. I liked it at the time. I have no idea why I did. I was just hungry for new Terminator, I think.
Yeah.
And it was cool that they were just trying to force feed you this nostalgia. And I thought it was a cool twist that John's a Terminator. Looking back on it now, it's the fucking stupidest fucking twist. It should have made, the only thing that could have been stupider is that Sarah has been a Terminator this whole time. Sarah. I was like, what? When she's pregnant? She was a Terminator. Anyways,
Is
yeah,
this gonna be like this is like looking through the looking glass? Maybe in 5 years, gonna be like fucking Last Jedi. What the fuck was? I loved that movie. You know?
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That.
it's not essential viewing. It lasted one movie. They were gonna do some sequels. I don't know what the fuck you could have done for a sequel
Yeah,
to
that was
that.
supposed to be a first of a trilogy, right?
Yeah, how the
From what I
fuck?
remember.
Well, so yeah, so they wrote it that way. So they left a lot of shit unanswered. Like who sent back the Terminator to 1970
Hmm.
to meet up with? That's probably the coolest scenes is the Terminator in 1970 because they de-age Arnold to look similar to a T2 in the middle of a T1 T2 era,
Hmm.
and he's like in black leather and he's at her like beach cabin and like he looks like a and picks her up and she's a little child and like carrying her on his shoulder. Like that's the coolest scenes in that movie. I think it looks really cool. um but yeah, I don't know where the fuck they were gonna go with that storyline.
Yeah.
Like really, you had more wackiness than that? Like you could tell that like here's the beginning of the wackiness and here's the end, and they only got like this far. They were still gonna go like fucking. Not only is John a Terminator, John is Skynet. He always was, or some shit. I have no idea. Uh, so the next one that brings us to Dark Fate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
last one,
the
or not the
last,
last one, but the newest one.
it might be the last one.
I kind of hope so.
It was cool. I was hyped because James Cameron was coming back. Come to find out, he wasn't going to direct though, because he doing like 4 Avatar sequels, and everybody knows that we all want 4 Avatar sequels because
Everybody.
of any James Cameron movie. I was just like, dude, more Avatar.
Hmm.
I love that. The shit was 3D. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Avatar. It's
It's all
very
right.
it's boring.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's boring. It's okay. It was cool at the time because it was such a good 3D movie, and it was the resurgence of 3D
Yeah.
with the cool 3D glasses that weren't red and blue. I have no idea how that became like the highest grossing movie of all time for a while. James Cameron has done that multiple
Twice.
times. Twice,
Yeah.
yeah. That's fucking nuts. I don't know how Titanic did it either. That movie's fucking. It was
What?
okay.
You
It's
don't
a
like
pretty.
Titanic?
It's okay. It's a pretty good movie, but fuck, highest grossing film of all time, Titanic. I didn't think people would like it that much. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. Beating Jurassic Park. It's like, oh, I'll watch Jurassic Park over Titanic any day. Uh, there's some cool effects work and stuff that I like, but the love story didn't interest me as a guy. But yeah, some of the effects work I deeply appreciate, and how realistic he tried to be with it, and obviously he's got a big fondness for Titanic with all that fucking
Yeah.
documentaries and stuff he's done. But we all know Titanic ended up making it to New York in Ghostbusters 2. Hey, the Titanic just arrived. Better late than never.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Cheech Martin.
But
Dark Fate.
Dark Fate. So he comes back, produces to get Tim Miller, who is on a hot streak from Deadpool. So I was like,
Mhm.
and he's well versed in rated R because he just did Deadpool. And when we find out it's gonna be rated R, so I was hyped, man. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, this is gonna be sweet. Bringing Linda Hamilton back, bringing Arnold back, and first time I watched it, I really enjoyed it, just like Genesis. But going back and watching it again, I realized that it's such a retread, and the fact that it erases continuity makes makes John Connor's journey absolutely useless. Makes Sarah Connor's journey absolutely useless. Now there's a new savior, and it's always changing. And it's like, dude, that doesn't
Yeah.
make any. It just ruins all the history. Um, the coolest part was the beginning where John Connor gets killed because you got some de-aging of Linda Hamilton,
Mhm.
and then you got Edward Furlong. Like that was cool. Like
Yeah.
that's the Terminator sequel everyone wanted to see. Like I wanted to see that in like 1998. or 1997. You know,
Hmm.
if they would have made that movie, I could only imagine like they're thinking they're in the Bahamas and then another Terminator comes. Like that would have been a fucking awesome
Just
sequence.
fucking right there in the tiki bar.
Yeah,
Boom.
yeah, dude.
Done.
I was like, oh shit, they shot John, and
Yeah.
it's Edward Furlong, and
Hmm.
they brought him back for this fucking CG cameo where it's not
Yeah.
even it's fucking 13-year-old Edward, and they brought him back and had him fucking do a mocap to put onto the double and shit. And I was like, they didn't have to do that. And
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
the interview I saw, you know, he's fucking he's a special guy. He he knows he's fucked his life up, and he's like, dude, I would suck. He says this in an interview with like this comic book guy. It takes him off kilter because he's like, I would suck a fucking dick to play John Connor again. It's like, seriously, give me the mouthwash and pull your dick out. I will suck it, and I'll play John.
Oh my
Like,
god.
that's exactly something John Connor would say. Whip that dick out and let's get to work on this script.
Give me the mouthwash.
I'm watching this and I can see the interviewers like,
Wow.
and he's just so happy. He's like, they didn't have to bring me back, and they did, and it's amazing. Yeah,
Jesus.
they brought you back for 10 seconds to kill your ass. So that was cool. Other parts, Arnold. So there's lots of Arnold sent
Oh
back.
fuck. Yeah, I forgot about the Arnold.
They just get sent back, and so the one that kills John because he didn't know Judgment Day had been stopped. Apparently it had been stopped, and so he was just on read only, so he didn't know. He just has to keep trying his mission, and then once he completes his mission, I guess that switches him over to read and write mode, where now he's like, oh, okay, my mission's done, now I can live my life. And then so he settles down, gets himself a wife,
Yeah.
step kid, and he starts to feel bad. He's raising his little son, Mateo. His little Mexican son, Mateo. Which is kind of mirrors his real life of having his illegitimate son with his maid.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It kind of mirrors that. This is my son, Mateo. And so he starts to feel bad for John. Like, hey, I have a son now, and I realize what I did to Sarah. And so he feels bad, so he starts throwing her a bone. He starts sending her the coordinates of where Terminators will be coming back. I don't know what the Terminators are coming back for at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
John's gone. I think they're just...
Are they killing generals still, or like from the war?
No, I think they're just being sent back to kill John. Like they're sending him every fucking year just to make sure.
Jesus.
Because they don't know in the future because he's still alive. I don't know, but so she's like hunts Terminators. The whole movie's just fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I was pretty hyped for it. Yeah, seeing that James Cameron was coming back. Some of the early screenings that they had before the movie was released had a lot of good reviews. So yeah, I was pretty hyped going in, and I think that the first probably like 15 minutes is pretty solid. At least I had fun with the first, 15, 20 minutes when you're introduced to a lot. By the way, this is during my time where I haven't been watching trailers, so I had no fucking idea what the movie was about or who was in it other than like Linda Hamilton. So yeah, I think the first 10, 15 minutes I was on board with. And then as the movie keeps going, I start checking out. And then when I really started to check out, when I was like, I'm fucking done with this movie, was when, and this is really in the movie, folks. The protagonist characters are flying a fucking plane. The Terminator comes, crashes his plane into that plane, and then there's a fight inside the plane hangar, and then they get ejected from the plane on like a pallet thing they're holding on, or a Jeep or something, and then they crash land on a fucking dam, and then they fall from the dam into the... I'm like, I'm watching Fast and the Furious right now. This is superhero shit. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then the Arnold stuff that you're mentioning, I was like, I wanted to stand up and be like, is anybody else watching this? This Terminator settled down and got married, has a kid. Like, what the fuck is going on?
What's his name in the movie? Fuck.
Who?
Arnold. He took a
Oh
name
yeah, I don't remember his
took
name.
a name for himself. Fucking A. It's
Like
anyways,
Hank or something.
continue.
But yeah, I don't think this movie's as bad as Genesis, but I definitely didn't enjoy it very much. I
Yeah.
was like I said, I kind of checked out mentally about halfway through.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think the first 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes are pretty solid.
had to have the obligatory um zero G airplane fight.
Yes.
Oh my god, his name was Carl. His name was Carl.
God damn it.
And then it's like I love this. They're talking to Linda Hamilton. It's like something about his name is Carl, and Linda Hamilton's. I'm not fucking calling you Carl. It's like he killed your son, and now they're fucking hanging out, and she's kind of an asshole to him, but he's getting through to her. Oh my god, it's
I also
fucking.
thought she was pretty rough. Like I was pretty excited to see her back in the
Yeah,
role.
I
'Cause,
was
like,
gonna
Sarah
say.
Connor was fucking cool, but like she hasn't been acting for a while and it shows. She was
I
pretty
was
rough.
I was gonna say, can we agree that Sarah Connor was terrible in this movie?
Yes.
Linda Hamilton was
Little
terrible in
Hamilton's
this movie.
performance, yeah, was pretty
Yeah,
pretty stiff.
she was bad. I was
Yeah.
like, oh fuck, yeah, she hasn't been acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really bad. All her monologues seemed fucking terrible. Uh, Best part of the movie is when they're playing back the clip from her and T2 talking to Silverman. I think it's in the beginning.
Yeah. It's like the opening scene.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
And the John getting killed. Everything that's like T2 actual sequel was awesome. So that's like
Mhm.
2 minutes of the film. Yeah, and then like another moment I did like is when Arnold died or sacrificed himself to kill the other Terminator. That he's like, for John. It kind of reminded me of the thumbs up moment, and it's kind of
Yeah.
sad,
T2.
kind of sad. So that was kind of cool. The new Terminator that's liquid slash not liquid has an
Oh yeah.
endoskeleton and can separate and
Hmm.
become two Terminators. That was a kind of cool
That's kind of
concept.
cool. Yeah.
Um, but at that point, it's like, why don't you just be two Terminators? You're way
Yeah.
more
Why do you need to?
you're way more effective when you're
Well, there's two of you.
separated and fucking people up.
Yeah. That's
Then
kind of cool in the opening, or not opening, but the first chase scene on the highway where he's like he separates from his body and the fucking AI is driving the truck and he goes off.
yeah,
Thought that was kind of fun.
yeah, it is kind of strange though, because it's like, how is the liquid one thinking and doing things? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I thought the computer was in the. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Arnold's back, and his name is Carl. uh,
I was also surprised they killed the protagonist Terminator. I figured that she was going to be the one to carry the franchise, but doesn't she die at the end? The gal that comes back to save. She's like android.
yeah, she's a human, enhanced. I don't remember.
That's right.
I don't
I
remember.
remember being surprised when I thought she died. I was like, oh, really? I thought that she was going to be like the passing of the
Well,
torch type of deal.
I think they killed her, but it doesn't matter because I think the sequel was going to go into how that girl is the John, because remember she
Oh,
meets
yeah,
her
yeah.
because she
Hmm.
meets her again when she's a human, because they're going to meet up. So I think there was going to be a way to bring her back pretty easily.
Mm.
That's why they did that. And that then the new real protagonist, the new John Connor, I thought she was terrible. The the
Yeah.
the Mexican gal, I thought she was uninteresting, boring, didn't seem like a formidable adversary. Even when she starts to like take control, it's like, no, we have to kill it, and I'm not
Hmm.
going to run anymore. I'm going to fight. What is it called again? A kill box. Yes, we make the kill box. I was like, what the fuck? And they try to turn her into this badass by the end, and it's like, I'm not believing any of it.
Yeah.
She seemed very weak, and it wasn't a very good character. I don't know if it was the writing or the actor. I couldn't tell, but I didn't like it.
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, and then Tim Miller notoriously has said, "Oh, I'll never work with James Cameron again." He's pissed because people hated his movie, and he's blaming everybody but himself. It's like, fucking James Cameron.
That
Meddled
seems to
in my
be
yeah.
pretty common when people don't like your movie. You got to blame
Yeah.
other people.
He meddled in my movie.
Yeah.
uh,
It
so
all starts with the script, pal. It all starts with the script.
so he's pissed about it.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Movie sucked, man. Still better than Genesis. Fuck.
Yeah, I agree.
That's not hard to do. But man, towards the end, it just gets too wacky. It's like two robots fighting is good enough, man. Gotta throw in a tank, a Humvee, a fucking
Yeah.
a dam, nuclear power.
Yeah, it felt like a superhero movie. It's what it felt like towards the end there.
Yeah, the bet.
Which, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's big over the top action set pieces in this franchise, and it's not like it's uncommon. But the James Cameron way, it feels so grounded. There's no fucking CGI. People flying in zero gravity and jumping onto Humvee and crashing it. Like, it's all pretty based on reality and something that could happen. Whereas, like, when you slam a plane to another plane, I think you're all gonna fucking die. you know?
Yeah. Um. Yeah. One of the only things I liked was, like you said, that girl, the new one, the enhanced human. She was pretty
Yeah.
good.
She was pretty
I
cool.
liked her. I liked the, she would get sick after expelling too much energy and had to get like medicine because like she's just a human still, and like the robot part of her is pushing her so hard that like fucking she goes into like diabetic shock.
Mm-hmm.
She's useless for a bit. So that was kind of interesting. I liked that part. Yeah. Other than that, Linda Hamilton was completely wasted, and unnecessary. Arnold was completely even more than Linda, was just completely unnecessary. It's like you could have just had Arnold come back for that first shot where he shoots John Connor, and then that could be his only scene in this movie, and it wouldn't change the film at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's already a Protector Terminator. He didn't need to be there.
Yeah, he comes up in the third act anyway. Like, he comes in pretty late, so it's like
it's fucking dumb. But that's I don't have much more to say about that. I liked it at the time. I own it. That's one. That and Genesis. I think Genesis is like funner to watch because it's got more interesting stuff in it. It's got the characters, at least. It's got so you can see the reshoots of the old 84 things done now, and it's kind of interesting to watch. Even though it's not as good of a movie, I almost feel like I prefer to watch that over Dark Fate. Because Dark Fate is so kind of fucking boring.
Yeah. And it's very bland.
Yeah, it's very bland. It's all desert and like color palette. Everything about it is bland.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a better film, but I've only watched it like 3 times, and I've watched Genesis more than that. So that's saying something.
Yeah. I want to watch Genesis again just to have fun with it. Because, like I said, I've only seen it once. You grab some beers and have a good time with it and see how it goes. But
yeah, right. So that's the Terminator franchise. I think the conclusion we come to is, what's the top? T2 is number 1.
T2 is number 1 for sure.
The Terminator, of course, going to be second place.
Yeah.
Third place, T3.
That's where I'd put it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So the first 3 are the best 3. Next, I think would be Salvation.
Agreed.
Salvation. Watch it again. It's a good movie. It's just not a good Terminator movie.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said. Like Metal Gear Solid 5. It's a good game. It's not a good Metal Gear Solid game.
Right.
Right? Like it's good and you can enjoy it, but it's so different that it's not right. There's no time travel. It's not a Terminator movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty good. So that's third or fourth. And then it's got a Dark Fate. So congratulations, Tim Miller. You made the 4th best Terminator movie.
Or the 5th.
And you made the top 5. That's pretty good.
5 out of 6.
Well, there's only 5, right? 3.
Well, Genesis.
3
so Salvation's 4.
Oh yeah,
Dark Fate would be 5,
okay,
and then
yeah.
Genesis would be 6.
Yeah, so you made the top 5. Congrats. Yeah, Genesis would have to be easily last. And if I'm ranking uh the show and putting that in there, I would maybe put it above Terminator 3. The show's really good. If it's not above 3, it's right below 3. So it's right in there.
Yeah.
Like 3 and the show are interchangeable. They're both really good. The show might have it just because it's a show. So it's got 2 full seasons of stuff. And so
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool content that's hard for a movie to compete with. So it's right in there. It's interchangeable.
Yeah, I agree with that ranking.
Sweet. That's Terminator. I hope you guys liked it. I don't know. Talk about all this James Cameron. You said your favorite action movie. I think my favorite James Cameron, real quickly, just to let you know, I think it was True Lies.
True Lies is really good. True Lies is badass.
Is such a good action movie, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Tune in next week for True Lies. Let's do a whole True Lies episode.
Let's just do his whole filmography.
Yeah. The lamentation of their women. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed. That's Terminator franchise. Watch them. I'm sure you've never heard of this franchise. It's a new franchise. It's Terminator. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. And yeah. By the way, I'm never fucking calling you Carl. So enjoy your Sunday, everybody. Go watch some football. Do whatever you do to relax. As always, we'll be here next week. Video gaming has been kind of fucking dead.
Mm-hmm. Not this week, though.
Yeah, this week we'll get some shit going on. Hopefully, if I get my goddamn PS5, because you said you're getting more Miles Morales, right?
Yeah, I'll have it Friday. So I can sit on it until you get it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, because if I don't get my PS5, I can't play it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get the PS4 version, because I could have, and it would got the free upgrade, but that wouldn't give me the remastered. And I really want to play the first game again with all that cool ray tracing and stuff, because I love that first game. I'm more hyped to replay the first game, as a matter of fact. Yeah. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get that on launch day. And I really like to do an unboxing and I put it next to my fat PS3 and my PS4 Pro, do a little bit of size comparisons. And I'm planning on doing that before my first time opening it. So I'm doing this out of love for you. I'm going to delay my enjoyment of the PS5 to do a video about opening the PS5. That's so tight.
What is this, Thursday, right? Thursday's the release?
Thursday, yep. Hopefully. Nice. So we'll see. And Thursday, I don't know. If I do get it Thursday, that's cutting it close. Doing a Sunday episode of Miles Morales, but
yeah, if anything, it would be like an early impressions, like kind of like we did with Tony Hawk.
For sure. But yeah, that's the reason why we've been doing so many movies and stuff, which is fun to do. I've enjoyed the movie ones. Like this is cool. Like I feel like my knowledge on these movies is probably bigger than the games. The games, I've played the games. The movies, I watch documentaries about the movies being made and stuff. The ones I enjoy. So I just love to enjoy, or I love to learn about how they made films that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So we'll do more movies, but we're thinking that video games are going to be pumped up with the new consoles coming out. So
yeah, we got new consoles. We got Cyberpunk in December. I'm assuming we're probably going to do like top 5 favorite games of the year, I imagine, and end of December before January 1st. So yeah, a lot of good gaming stuff coming up.
Stay tuned for Cyberpunk. We're gonna have Keanu Reeves on, special guest.
Whoa,
whoa, we're zooming. Zoomy.
Dude, I'm getting like some fucking John Wick.
Holy shit.
Going on a little bit. It's getting long, man.
John Wick. That's some Tiger King up in that bitch.
Yeah, man. Jesus.
Oh man.
It's getting to almost to my shoulders. Now I need a fucking suit and give me a fucking handgun.
Don't worry, buddy. Joe Biden won. You can get a haircut. You can get a haircut now. I'm not getting a haircut unless this fucker's out of office. I'll grow my hair out for another 4 years if I have to.
Nice.
So yeah. All right. Yeah. Enjoy your day, everybody. We'll be back with more content. Next one probably be video games. We'll see, but we hope you enjoy the movie stuff too. We've always kind of planned on that's what it was going to be. We knew it was going to be video games and probably some films and pop culture. We haven't even done anything like that yet, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the format has kind of changed, it's supposed to be these things that we were divisive on, but come to find out, our opinions are pretty similar on most things. So we'll have to find some things we can actually versus get.
Yeah, I think what Mandalorian and I guess Star Wars were actually, no, Mandalorian I do enjoy. I think I was listening to the episode again. I feel like I was kind of hard on it because I think it is a good show. It just I don't think it does a lot for me to like.
Did you see episode 2 yet?
I haven't watched episode 2 yet. No.
Episode 2 is pretty sweet. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Not much happens, but visually and like it's just really cool looking, and there's some cool, interesting throwback things they popped in. So check it out.
I also wanted to. I don't know if you saw this, because you're saying maybe more movie related stuff. I don't know how I feel about it. I know you're probably pretty pumped. I don't know if you saw this, but Warner Brothers decided to just release Tenet on Blu-ray in December, so we could watch Tenet and do a Tenet review or something.
Hell yeah, yeah! I want to watch Tenet.
But I don't remember what the date was, but they officially announced it'll be released on Blu-ray in December.
Wow, I bet Christopher Nolan is pissed.
Yes. He was like, specifically, this needs to be watched on IMAX. It's gonna yada yada yada.
He like pushed this movie out like 6 times.
Yeah.
Trying to get, please go to your local theaters. Watch it. One person in the middle of the theater, surrounded by Purell.
For fuck's sakes.
I will send you a mask in the mail to go watch it, please, and a ticket. Yeah, he's all about the theater experience. I bet he was pissed about that. But fuck, what are you gonna do, man? No one's seen your movie. Don't you want people to see it? It's like, dude, and then like theaters are like putting themselves out of business, just trying to be open to show his movie because nobody's coming to see it, and they're open because they want to show it. Yeah. So his movie might have actually hurt the industry because all these theaters open thinking people would want to come see this movie, and nobody did.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I want to see it. Yeah. And there's no other way to right now. So it don't hurt my feelings.
Right.
Yeah, cool. Good info. But yeah, anyways, you guys have a good Sunday. We love you. Thanks for watching. Please continue to watch. Tell your friends, like, subscribe. Tell your mama, your sister, and your brother too. We're reviewing movies and games for you. That's the new theme song. We're going to record it soon. Okay. All right. Love y'all. Take it easy, man. Have a good Sunday.
You too.